start with the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Champlain. Trustee McFetrich. Here. Trustee Champlain.
Here.
Trustee Garrett. Here. Mayor Martin.
Here. Motion to approve the minutes of June 13th, 2016.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion, additions, deletions? Anything at all? No? All those in favor of passing this resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Presentation of petitions, communications, notices, general question period for members of the community. We have a presentation by the Champlain Fire District. I believe Mr. Kennedy, you have a short thing you want to bring up here first?
Sure, I live on 18 Moore Street, and I need a fire hydrant extension. I was told that I could have one, but I'd have to purchase it. And I'm coming to the board to see if you guys would actually purchase it, since, you know, it's well below the road grade, and it needs to be brought up so I can fill it in to stop my property from getting flooded.
Was it below the road grade before you started filling it in?
Yes, well below.
Well, there's a buried line on those hydrants where the house is and where that was built. It's tapered down there. It's not the road height. So he's filling the lot, his whole lot, to try to bring his lot up, which is going to need at least a foot extension on that hydrant after it. And I told him that on here that usually, unless it's something that we do, usually it's going to be a board's decision whether they want to pay for that. We want to get it's probably going to need a 12-inch extension. Probably looking at almost 6 inches, $400 range. So the extension needs to go on hydrant. If we decide to do it, we have to put it on. And also the valve in front of it needs a riser. We need a riser as well to bring it up and we can access the valve. It's a water canal and
What's your recommendation, Mike?
I mean, it's good, if he builds a property up there, the hydrant's gonna have to be raised. That's up to the board if it's something that the villagers wanna pay for, or if the homeowner has to pay for it. It's a board decision.
Well, I'm certainly, in favor of you improving your property. I think the board would agree that we have the fire hydrants there as a way to provide fire protection. And there is a minimum that we must have to maintain fire protection, I'm assuming, to keep the hydrants working correctly and to keep everything flowing. Am I sort of kind of correct here? Wait?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What's the board's thought on this? Do you have any questions for Mike or Mr. Kennedy?
Can you give me a little bit more explanation as to why you're putting in all the extra dirt to cause the need to raise it up?
Well, we've had flooding on the property quite a few times. I would invite anybody on the board to come up if you want to come and see it. Mike's got my phone information. I'm on the low side of the road, and the property actually needs to be built up to stop flooding in my swimming pool area. The mayor's seen it one time when I was getting flooded really bad, and I'm in a situation where I can put the fill there and I can take care of it now. So I'm hoping for some help with the road.
So you're just bringing it back up to the proper grade, as far as the road is concerned, the side of the road?
Well, it was built, the road is here, I mean, his property was, they built the property down in a hole, basically. They never built the property up when they put the place there. So now he wants to bring the property up, which is, originally when the hydrant was put in, it was the right height, but when you add this much to the, obviously the hydrant has to go up as well. So if you guys want to look at it, and as a board or whatever, and make a decision on the next month, or however you want to do it, but it's, it was buried to the proper height when it was put in, But now they're raising the, I mean, there's other whole years put in, you know, there's other, that street, it's put a long time ago, now they're raising property up, so, I mean, as soon as we get to 1,000 hydrant, you know, it's no good for using it, it has to be, like, not to fill around it yet, to see first, you know, either whether it's purchased or he has to purchase one, before he fills it.
It sounds reasonable. Have you seen the property?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you would have to do something with the hydrant, that's for sure.
No, but you know what he's doing, is he's improving it, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, but then we're gonna open up Pandora's box on anyone who wants to improve their property, and it changes something, and then we pay for anything to do with that. So we have to be very careful, so it's, again, this consistency thing that we face over and over. If we do for one, then we need to be prepared to do for all as they upgrade. And I'm all for people upgrading and, you know, making things work better, but we're gonna start talking about all the drainage that goes into people's property as things get backed up. It's their responsibility to keep those culverts clear. You know, all of that stuff is going to come in
It's
with
almost
it.
like a cause and effect issue.
Yeah,
Because as you're building up and improving your household, your property, you build it up, and then you need to add an extension. And, you know, when the hydrants were put in, when the water lines were put in originally, they were at the right and the correct height to fit that need.
Like great.
To fit the grade. Now that we're building up the grade, I think we'll be able to improve this is something which is more than acceptable. Now, we have to face the idea of, because this extension, because he's improving his property, should we pay for the extension? Or should the village, which is that cost? With the cause and effect, you're building up the property to where you want it to be. So in essence, it's almost the property owner should be responsible for the extension that's going to be put on. And even if Mr. Kennedy has to pay for this extension, it has to be done under the supervision of the public works. Because ultimately that decision or that final product is going to rest with the village.
I can give you a price, I mean, I couldn't have a price of the house, but I'm saying, no, you don't know.
yeah.
Grab it, I think I have one on my sheet.
Maybe something is, you know, if our staff has to be the ones that do it, you know, that we do that portion as a pro bono,
I was gonna suggest.
you know, but the cost of the meter in the extension itself,
You know, I went
because
through the
we've done
village.
other work for, you know,
We put
for
culverts
folks,
in,
and if,
it would be to our benefit for us to put this extension in ourselves,
right,
to make sure that it is meeting the standards that the village has,
right.
as well as the needs of the fire department.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kane, you started to say something.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, you know, I'm not allowed to fill this up, and if I've got to buy the extension, you know, the fire hydrant's well below the road level. I mean, I'm not asking you to build it way up so I have a hill pushing the water back to the road. I just want to meet road level so I'm not being flooded. There's an in-ground pool there. I would like to invite anybody that wants to come over. Mike has my information. I've had a lot of damage done to the swimming pool was put in 2002. Water actually came up and over into the swimming pool area, one under the liner, bubble it up and drop back down. I mean, it's not like I'm not having issues, it's issues from the water coming off the road. And I don't think I'm asking for anything overboard to where I think, you know, I would agree if, you know, if I just wanted to change, but I just think it's something that you should take care of because, you know, if I'm well below road level and you're telling me now that I can't build this up and this is the prime flood area going around.
Well, you
my
can
pool.
build it up, but it's the cost of being a homeowner. And it's not right for every taxpayer in here to pick up that choice because you're having an issue. And, you know, I emphasize with that. It's just, when we open the door for things like this, as I said, everyone then comes with their things that they're having issues with, which then it does become an extraordinary burden to the village.
Understood, but also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I'm sorry, too. I was just gonna say, but at the same time, I think it really is, has to be looked at it case by case. I think he's raising a good point. It was installed like that, well below the grade of the road, because there was no earth there. It's gotta be, frost, I mean, you have to put hydrant sticking out of the ground for nothing. Now he's asking for it to be at grade level, road grade level. It's not an unreasonable request. I agree with you.
Right,
Boy,
yes,
in
yeah.
this case, I'm leaning towards, I think it's important.
Are hydrants usually at road level?
Yeah, because typically you have that grade already there.
So he's just the unlucky one that happens to have one in his yard. that's
Right,
all.
right. If it was-
Someone else who
That's
owns
just
it.
building up the park.
And
Well, I know, but if I build out my property where I have a flood, I don't have a hydrant.
exactly,
I don't have to worry
so
about
you
it.
have to worry about it. He happens to have one of our hydrants
Right.
in his front
I
yard.
mean, it's just the luck of the draw, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and
So I
I think
don't-
you guys would have a better understanding if you picked them up, and I have
I
no
have a
issue.
really good
and-
understanding. I'd like to see it, I agree, but I have a great understanding. And I think in this case, it is.
Whatever, it has to be done. It has to be-
6 inches.
the height has to be increased.
So does it double?
It's probably going to 12 inch.
And does that mean that price is double? Is that
No,
how it
but
works?
it's gonna be more. We got-
What did you get for a price now?
The 6 inch, I busted 6 inch, they were 462, which probably need 12 inch yet. And then also valve box riser as well, which should, those are, look at that. It's 12 inches, would be about about $34 a piece. For 6 inch valve box riser. 34 to 44, it's another $80 there. I should have got a price on the 12 inches, so I think that's what it would probably be in there, but I know that's what 462 for this last 6 inch one we have bought for this.
It's probably like a $700 investment.
Yeah.
At least.
So,
I don't know, that's,
You want to take some time to look at this?
could we look at it?
Well,
I mean,
absolutely.
we only meet once a month, though, so we wouldn't be giving you an answer tonight.
I'm sorry?
We wouldn't be giving you an answer
Oh,
tonight.
that's not a
if we
problem,
did.
not a problem, and like I said, Mike's got my information. If you guys want to come individually, and whoever wants to come up and have a look,
We'll come up with some pictures, we'll
Yeah, I'd
go
like
down
to
and
see.
have more conversations with you
okay.
about this. Not really, I think for the most part, without seeing it, that we wouldn't have a good understanding of it.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
Let's table this, or let's, we have made any motions, so we don't need to table anything. Let's make a plan sometime between now and August meeting,
yeah.
we will come up with it.
Okay, I'd like to thank you.
And I'll get a price exactly what, exactly what extension is that we want.
I don't know if we can come together, probably not, but, you know, at your convenience, we will come up with it.
Okay,
I'm
sounds
gonna
good.
do pictures too, so it's like,
All right, great. Thank you guys for your time.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Gentlemen?
Good evening. I'm sure everybody knows who I am. This is Mr. Dave Whitford. He's our consultant and our architect engineer from AES. This is for the fire department, fire district expansion that we're looking forward to. I have some flyers here. Has everyone seen these? You got them? Anybody want them to look at, follow along?
I think I may have seen one yesterday.
I have a,
I think I have one. Thank you.
Here this evening also is John Fillion. He's the chairman of the fire district. And Woody Kissel, he's a commissioner, as myself. Just want to say we've been at this before I got there, and I'm going on my second term. So there's at least 6 years we've been thinking about it, working on it. We had to get serious about it till the last couple of years, and we refined the plan a couple different times, come up with numbers. Not everybody likes our numbers as everything else goes, but anyway, Dave has a small presentation that we'd like the board to take a look at. and hopefully pass the good word around. So when we have our vote at the end of the month, it'll be a positive thing. Okay?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for inviting us to your meeting. As Mike said, my name is Dave Whitford. I'm the principal architect of EBS Northeast, located in Plattsburgh. We've been working with the board for the past couple of years on some facilities planning. We came up with a project that we'd like to present to you. A short presentation. Before we get into the project, we wanted to give you a little more background on the Champlain Fire District and what they do in the community. Starting right off, you can see the fire district, which is actually the legal district that's required to provide fire protection to the area, and then your volunteer fire department, Niagara Hose Company. Quickly, list of commissioners and officers. As Mike mentioned before, John Fillion here tonight. Mike himself, Woody Kissel, also James LaFave, Dale Cato, and Tammy Barker, the treasurer, secretary of the Board of Commissioners. And then you have your officers from the Niagara Hose Company, Pete Timmons, Fire Chief, Mike Baker, Courtney LaFave, Todd Jarvis, David Blix, John Fillion, and Shane Brink. I'll just mention Pete and Todd were also very, very involved in this whole process the past couple of years. Your fire chief and president of the hose company were very, very involved and came to all the meetings for the past 2 years and had a lot of input into this final project that we're doing. So I'm sure if you want to talk to them individually, you
Put
can
your
go.
laptop up here and I'll advance it. Seriously. Make it easier for yourself.
Because it's doing exactly what it needs to be done.
Okay, send them over.
Just lost it.
No, I'm good.
Yep. It's the board.
Is this it?
I got a camera that out.
It's right here.
Well, I should be.
Just trying to be helpful.
Never fix it if it's not broke.
You have to slide it over there again?
Oh, yeah, probably will now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still on there.
Should go with that.
Pardon me for a minute. I guess I should have left it in.
There you go, Gil.
There you go. So
Tell
we
me
went
when.
through the list?
Yep.
So, Champlain Fire District. Obviously goes from the Canadian border on the north, all the way down to the village of Shazy on the south, Lake Champlain on the east, and over to St. John Road on the west side. Just to give you a geographic idea of the size of the Champlain Fire District. That covers 2,300 parcels, about 1,600 structures, 59 square miles. They get about 175 to 200 calls per year, serving a population of about 5,600 in the fire district. Rouse's Point is carved out. I understand that. You guys understand that better.
The village has its own fire department.
In the Rouse's, yes. So just wanted to give you an idea of the district size. Go ahead to the next slide. So this is a basic floor plan of the current fire station. Here's the 4 meeting bays that face Elm Street. In the back, there's a small meeting room, kitchen, bathrooms, and a small office for the fire department. So it's a 1-story steel building. It was built in 1986, so it's about 30 years old. Total floor area is 4,600 square feet, 4.5 bays, multi-purpose room, kitchen, and office, situated on 3.1 acres. That's, you can kind of see the basic footprints of fire trucks here to give you a sense of scale and size. Next slide, please. So, we also wanted to give you an idea of the original property that belonged to the fire district back in 1986, and that's highlighted in the yellow outline there. It was, I don't know, maybe an acre or something at that time, and I'll explain in a few minutes how the board expanded that. Within the pink area, you can see the original footprint of the existing station as it exists today, just to give you a sense of what was built back in 1985. That was the footprint of the building and the footprint of the property. Next slide, please. A little more background on the fire district services and all the things they provide. In terms of equipment, they have 3 pumper trucks, a tanker truck, heavy rescue truck, a brush truck, personnel van, a water rescue boat and trailer, a UTV with a trailer, and a portable generator on the trailer. And that's obviously grown over the years. Since 1985, most fire departments have bigger trucks and then more vehicles for different purposes, like the UTV and boats and so forth. So the fire station is the headquarters and home base for the host company, the volunteers, and there's about 46 volunteers. That fluctuates a little bit from year to year, but there's currently about 46 volunteers. In terms of services that the district provides, we provide mutual aid to Vermont and Canada. I was surprised to learn that myself, actually going to Canada to fight fires when called upon. Rescue on Lake Champlain. They cover 3 border crossings. Hazardous material spills on the railroad and I-87. They assist with animal rescue, cleanup in the community, search and rescue, and they've been called upon by the DEC now and then to actually help the DEC with various things. Just to give you an idea what a volunteer fire member goes through, they start out with 104 hours minimum of initial mandatory training to become a firefighter. And then some of that is on-site and some is off-site. And then they have to do 40 hours per year to maintain their membership and their skills and their training in the fire department. A couple of pictures of the current station in case you've never been there. On the far left is a picture across the front. I think you can see a little bit. It's kind of cramped. And here in the middle is another picture of a fire truck. It's pretty tight quarters. Those large trucks that are parked in the front. This picture on the right-hand side is actually not at the fire station. This is a separate building that is rented by the fire district to house the remainder of the equipment, the boat, the van, another truck, and the UTV on the trailer, because there simply isn't enough space at the fire station to keep it all in one place. So they're paying about $6,000 a year, I think, in rental, plus the heating cost to heat this area all winter long, to keep the vehicles from freezing, obviously. So I just wanted to give you a few pictures to give you a sense of what the fire station looks like if you've never been there. So this process started quite a long time ago, as Mike mentioned, but a little bit more formally since 2000, spring and summer of 2012, when the board started to discuss the lack of apparatus space and the aging building issues. And then in 2014, they looked at the property next door and decided to purchase that and annex it to the fire station property, and that's what brought it up to 3.1 acres, which is what they have today, 3.1 acres. And then in the spring of 2014, the board decided to initiate a formal assessment of the fire station and form the project committee. The board of commissioners themselves, and then like I said, the president of the host company and the fire chief himself are also on the committee, and some others. And then in July 2014, the board decided to engage a professional consultant to help conduct the facilities planning, assess the station, look at all kinds of different ideas on how to address the space issues and building issues. And then we spent the rest of the year, August through December, exploring new fire stations, all kinds of additions ideas, different ideas of sizes and shapes for additions, various renovations, and spent a lot of time working on that. In November of that year, 2014, we completed what we call a building condition survey or assessment, and basically concluded there's a severe lack of space and the aging building needs to be addressed. While they have done, maintenance and repairs over the years, aging buildings tend to require some more, issues to address over the years, and so that's part of this project. Then they kind of took a pause for a while over the winter of 2015, and then we resumed things again in the spring and summer of 2015. And we kind of came to what we thought was a final plan for an 8,600 square foot addition and alteration for $4.2 million. And the board gave that a lot of thought and decided that it was too big. And basically rejected that plan, even though we all had come to that point in the process, decided that was just not palatable for the board, and so we went back to the drawing board. And we spent the rest of the year in 2015 downsizing the project size in terms of dollars and downsizing the additions and what they really need to help them improve that facility. And that's the project we're going to present to you. So this is what the project's all about. On the left side of the drawing is a footprint of the existing fire station in the light blue. You can see the 4 fire trucks parked here, that faces Elm Street. And then the rooms we talked about, the multi-purpose room and so forth. On the right side in the pink area is the proposed addition. Well, the addition would be 61 feet wide, same width as the current fire station, and almost 100 feet deep, 98 feet deep. That would include 3 new large apparatus bays for the large fire trucks. Fire department office, a small meeting room, and a new boiler room for all the electrical and mechanical things. And on the far right side is a proposed community room, right here in this area, with a capacity of 100 seated potential. A small new kitchen, public bathrooms in the back, and just basically a vestibule here in the front. So fire department area in the blue in the first half of the pink, and then this community room, and we'll get into the details of that. The community room will be available for public functions, civic groups, trainings, command posts. I've heard the board talk about it at the last meeting. It's basically open to the public and can be used for a variety of purposes. There's a little bit of, or a small amount of renovations that are also planned with this project. Again, they started out with a big list and they downsized it. One thing they want to do is to convert the existing multi-purpose room into a standby room. Right now, that meeting room is used for everything. And when the firemen come back from a fire, they're covered with unmentionables, and they're commingling with kitchen staff, preparing food, and it's not a good situation. There's been a lot of studies released in the past few years since 9/11 that unfortunately firemen or firewomen are getting cancer at a much higher rate than the average citizen due to their exposure to all types of carcinogens in a fire condition. And so fire station design is evolving, and what we're trying to do is start to, first of all, separate public from the what they call firematic areas and keep the fire department operations separate from the community. But the other thing is, and that's the third or fourth bullet, is they want to convert the existing men's room, which is right here, into a decontamination room. So this is where a fireman will come back to the station with all their gear on, go into that room, and hose off the majority of the debris and the soot and the dirt that they're covered with. Because that's the bad stuff. That's the stuff that's getting carted home with the laundry, it's getting tracked all over the fire stations. It's not just Champlain, it's happening everywhere. So that's an important little room that they would like to create in the project. They would like to convert the existing women's room into a unisex bathroom dedicated to the fire department, and it had a shower there. Convert the existing office into a radio room, and then a little bit of cosmetic renovation on the outside by replacing the siding and adding some masonry, wainscoting on the outside. So that's the basic project. The big component, of course, is the addition, and then some minor renovations in the blue area. So this is a basic site plan of the property. Again, the existing fire station's in the blue. The proposed addition is in the pink. Here's Elm Street on the bottom. One of the things that the board wanted to do was improve parking at the fire station. And so in the yellow strips here, you see various new parking areas that would be created for up to about 50 cars, 50 vehicles. There would be some dedicated parking for fire and rescue personnel as well. The other main feature that the fire department and the board would like to address is a very narrow driveway that leads out to Elm Street. This is very difficult for the fire truck drivers to manipulate the vehicles and turn around here and back into the current fire station. So what the proposal includes is widening this driveway in this orange area all the way across the front of the property, so that the drivers have a lot more flexibility here to pull in and back in, do K-turns or whatever and back into the fire station. So that's really a bottleneck. So that's a major site improvement that they would like to make. So we talked about the addition, 61 by 98. The property generally slopes uphill. If you've ever looked at it, it generally slopes uphill as you go toward the back. So that presents a little bit of a building challenge, and one of the proposals is to actually build a community room a little bit higher to eliminate some retaining walls and so forth. But that's going to require regrading all of this so that there's ample space for fire trucks to manipulate the vehicles and pull in here and back into the new bays and so forth. Plenty of room for the public to park or come to the community room. And repave, they would like to repave everything, obviously. Build the new parking lots we talked about, and widen the street entrance. This red line here, that was the original property line that I showed you on that map earlier. So you can see how the fire district property got expanded when they purchased the property next door. So that really enabled the opportunity to build the addition in the back and create all of the maneuvering space for fire trucks to come into the property and turn around and so forth, get into the new station. Otherwise, in my opinion, that addition would not have been very feasible. Just wouldn't be enough room for vehicles to really move around the property. Project cost. Everybody usually wants to know how much it's going to cost. General construction estimate is $1,560,000. That's the roof and the walls and the floors and all the structure, all the finishes and so forth. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing is estimated at $683,000. The site work, $630,000. And the project development cost is $496,000. Project development cost is what we call the soft costs of the project. That's your design, your construction drawings, your bid specifications, oversight during construction phase. They have to hire bond counsel, pay them fees to convert the financing into permanent bonds, clerk of the works, inspectors, surveying costs. They've already incurred a lot of cost already for different things. That would fall into that line item of project development, or some people call it soft cost. So that's how we get to a total project cost of $3,369,000. The fire district has been saving money and kind of anticipating doing a capital project in the future. So they're going to take some of that money that is in current savings to help offset the cost and keep the tax rate a little lower. So that brings, by using 250,000, that brings the net project cost down to 3,119,000. So the estimated tax increase would have been about 80 cents per $1,000 at this cost, but because they're using some money from savings, that brings the tax increase down to 58 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. At the time we put this presentation together last winter, we believe the average assessed value of a home in the fire district was about $80,000. So that would be, for a homeowner with an assessed value of $80,000, the annual increase would be approximately $47 a year, or if you look at it on a monthly basis, $3.87 a month. If your house has a higher assessed value than that, you simply multiply the 58 cents times the value divided by 1,000, and that will give you your annual estimated increase in your taxes. If the referendum is successful, this is the anticipated project schedule for the rest of the project. Obviously, we're going through several public meetings in July, and then there's a vote, like Mike said, later in July. If that's successful, we'll go on to the full final design and construction drawings, specifications, and bidding documents for the rest of the year, and complete those in the winter of 2017. And we will bid the project out in the winter of 2017. And I think you're already familiar with a law called the Wicks Law, which requires the project to be bid out and built by 4 contractors for a municipal building like this. A general contractor, a plumber, electrician, and a heating contractor. That's a state law. You have to have 4 contractors to build one building. And the fire district is just like any other municipality, they're obligated to follow that.
Leave it to New York State.
Pardon?
Leave it to New York State.
Yes. It's called the Wicks Law. It's been around a long, long time, and it does make the project a little tougher. So that, if the bids come in good, the award would be in the spring of 2017. Then the contractors would begin to order materials and so forth, structural steel and all those things. And the project will be built next year, hopefully by December of next year. Some final comments from the board that kind of came up with toward the end of the process. The fire station has been the home base during national disasters like ice storms. It's been a command post, I think, for different reasons. Tends to be the place where everybody collects for different things. The board feels it's a sensible addition and alteration project that's more economical than a new fire station. And it's not a wish list. It's an addition that's necessary to house all the equipment under one roof and reduce the cost of their operation. So those are some final comments from the board. The vote is on Tuesday, July 26, 2016, from 3 to 9 p.m. right at the fire station. And that'll be set up just like their annual general elections. I think it'll be a special election, of course. And I know they very much would appreciate your support for the project, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
If we go back to the cost, the slide on the cost. Looking at this, and I've had discussions with Mike and with Woody about this cost. Mike told me today that it was not 53. Pardon me? 53 cents per thousand?
Yes, it should be 53.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the other, I think, concern from my standpoint is trying to maintain an equitable tax rate. Your information, may I ask where the average assessed value of a home is $80,000, where you received that information at?
You want to address that?
Well, like I explained earlier, we got that from the county planning department when we asked for a list of the property owners within the fire district and how many structures there were and how many properties. And that number came along with all that information. And I believe that might have been off the 2010 census, what they probably used. Now, you had something more recent from a study you did here in the village.
Yeah, this is a study that was done by the Village of Champlain Revitalization Strategy. April 12, 2016 was the public forum that we had on that. And this is from the Nielsen Company, February 2016 data, which shows that in the town of Champlain, the median household value of owner-occupied home was $120,000. And in the village of Champlain, the average was $97,750. And Rouse's Point was $128,000, which is going to make a difference here in your tax estimation of the annual increase will be approximately, it's going to be significantly more than the $47 that you have showing you. Also, I think it's important for the taxpayers to know that this is, and it's not on your information here, but this I think is very important, is that this is a 30-year loan period. They're going to see this increase in their taxes over 30 years. Am I correct?
I don't believe it's a 30-year loan, I think it's 22 or 25, according to the bond council.
Okay. Well, that's,
Yeah,
It's controlled by and set by the bond council based on the type of project.
okay. And Mike, would you care to clarify a little longer about what you were talking about this afternoon that may lower this with a grant or with another process?
you're talking about the assessment we were talking
Yes,
about?
the assessment.
Well, according to the assessor now, all ag land is going to be reevaluated this coming year.
Okay, so I know you don't want to go too far into this, but it will have an impact on
Yes.
the fire department.
I mean, the fire district receives 100% of the assessed value as far as taxation goes. Whereas like all ag land, say it's assessed at $1,000, we would tax on $1,000. They would pay on that. Whereas the school tax, village tax, town tax, they get a percentage of that after they apply for their exemptions.
Okay, this is just a possibility.
Yes.
Okay, so let's stop right there. We don't want to build up the public's
Yeah.
hopes in seeing something which may affect the tax rate. But I guess that was my biggest concern, was the tax rate and how that would be spread out over a period of time. I've kind of sort of come to terms with the increased size of the community room. I mean, we really don't have a place in this village to go. And I envision this not only as a place perhaps to provide space for a village or private event, but I also see this as an evacuation point. We really don't have an evacuation point in this village in terms of, we need space in a hurry. You know, to take people out of their, you know, if they could leave their homes in a flood or some other circumstances.
Take the ice storm maybe.
I mean,
If you
we
remember
don't
the
have
ice
any
storm,
space here.
the fire station was the evacuation point, and it was, according to these guys, I wasn't there, a disaster. I mean, you have the public interacting with the fire department operations, and it didn't work well at all. I mean, everybody got through it, but the community room, I've been a stickler on this since the beginning. You can ask these guys, I thought it was a very important component of the project. I was never willing to compromise on it. Compromise on the size, yes. But as far as having it, I just don't think there's anything else in the area big enough to offer to the public. And I think it's the way the fire district gives back to the people. You know, like you mentioned, if we're gonna have a birthday shower, you know, an event, training, whatever, it's available. There's no place left around where we can do that. I mean, St. Mary's Fire took away the old school, so that's gone.
Our closest evacuation point now is the high school.
Yes.
You know, when you took out the elementary school, the NECO, that took out a large space for us to evacuate. Now, it's the high school, and that presents its own problems with transportation and moving people around. This way, if we're going to use that community room for such a site, at least you're closer to their homes.
Yes. One thing that wasn't mentioned during the presentation is when we were looking for sites, We looked at moving from there over to Route 11, different spots around, looked at the former school. Basically, we came to the realization that most of the firefighters are from within the village. And we thought it was very important that we stay within the village, and when the property next door became available, it's not every day you get a chance to buy the property next door. So we moved on it before we even had a project. You know, we were anticipating, but we didn't really know.
Would you still maintain the building that you purchased?
Yes, we did a cost analysis on that building versus tearing that down and moving that same amount of space into the new building. And it just was cost prohibitive to do it. You're looking at around 1,000 square feet of usable space in that. The fire district office is what we call it now. And it proved to be more cost efficient to keep that and keep our operations there than the fire department or the fire apparatus building by itself versus tear that down. I mean, the cost of tearing it down, you would have asbestos issues, plus the tear down, and then you still have to build that same square footage at roughly $375 a square foot. Again, this prevailing wage, it means this kills any project, as we all know.
And it's not gonna present any problems with your parking?
No.
Your additional parking space?
No, we have plenty of room, we have land in the back.
Well, I think it's pretty well known that you need additional parking.
Oh, yeah. See, that was another consideration, you know, in cost cutting. We had looked at doing the parking lot, but just a gravel parking lot. And it was mentioned several times that, well, if you do gravel, that's all you're ever gonna have, because you're never gonna pay for it, pay to have it blacktop because of the cost. So we decided to include it in the cost. That's why you see such a high number on site. I mean, 50 parking spots, it doesn't come cheap. You gotta have a gravel base and drainage and so on and so forth. I mean, it's unbelievable what it costs. I mean, I'd be the first to admit it.
Mike, do you think that this excess drainage, increased drainage here, is gonna present a problem for our storm drains?
I don't believe you just right on that side down, that goes across.
The drains cross into the gully.
Goes right across over by the River Street.
But if they change the driveway, we can use an additional storm drain on the inside.
As far as that goes, I have to look and see what's there, size-wise. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have a lot more service area for sure.
Is there one there now?
Yes, there is one there now, but you're gonna have a lot more surface area that's, you know, when you get blacktop, everything's moving.
Yeah, you got a
You have to slow it down, basically.
So that's a very active drainage there. It's all, you always hear it when you walk by.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going in there.
That's coming down off of Prospect Hill.
Right, no, I know. So, but if we're saying there's no ground to slow it down, we have pavement too that is going across it.
Some of that, when you slope the driveway too, is gonna be on the side of Elm Street. We'll probably have to do something on the side of Elm Street. That section is not too good right now there anyways, on the side. You know, it's an issue with water going through. Eventually, we'll probably have to do something on the side of Elm Street.
The New York State DEC stormwater regulations will require us to assure the fire district that we're not discharging any more stormwater onto Elm Street than you are now. That's a state regulation. So there's probably going to be some detention bonds built into the drainage system to control that. But we are increasing, as they both said, the paved area when the water just runs across that. So we have to develop what's called a stormwater prevention plan, and we have to limit the post-development discharge to the same as what it is today. That's a state requirement in the DEC regulations.
And are you planning on fees for the use of this community center?
We talked about that at the public hearing. If we had a fee, it would basically be, for instance, first of all, it would be up to Niagara Homes. They're going to take care of the day-to-day operations, so it would be their decision. But basically, they would probably charge a $50 retainer fee for cleaning. If you rent or use the hall, and you don't clean it, and we have to hire somebody to do it, the $50 would go to that. If you take care of the cleanup, then they refund your money, is basically what was talked about. I mean,
Because you'll have an increase in the use of water, the use of sewer, you know, you get a bunch of people in for a big event and they
Well, if
toilet
they-
flushing every other minute.
Yeah, it's been in discussions, I'm sure they're discussing it tonight with our normal business meeting at Niagara Hose. But we talked about it, you know, a fee for the kitchen use.
Right,
Offset the gas and the, whatever it is that they're using.
right.
And then there's a deposit for the room itself. If people bring their own stuff and they clean it, they get your deposit back when they clean it.
we're not in it to make money by any
Well,
stretch.
no, right, no.
But we don't wanna lose
Not
money
my
either.
point, right, you don't want even more of an expense
Yeah.
added to that's not seen,
Well,
that
going-
hits at a later date.
We're going back to what the mayor was saying earlier as a gathering point for emergencies. With the community room, that is gonna be separate and locked away from the fire area itself. The only way they could get in there is if you have a pass key, which is gonna be limited from the fire area. And people they could fire escape through that door, but it's separate and it's gonna be windows so they can look down and see the firemen and see what all they're doing.
It's all handicap accessible, it's all, I mean, it's gotta be built to the building code of the day. so
Right,
That's my job.
it has to be.
Any other comments, questions, discussion?
So hopefully we all have your support, at least come out and vote one way or the other, but hopefully we have your support. Firemen would appreciate it.
Are there absentee ballots if you're not in town that day?
No,
No.
I don't believe so.
We don't have absentee ballots.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that question too, Paul's not here. Maybe you should ask.
Well, hopefully this generates enough interest to bring out,
Well, that's
to
the
bring
whole
out large
intent.
numbers of people to vote.
I mean, we did, we're required to have 2 public hearings. We had one last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday.
We're gonna have another one on the 18th at the fire station. We're doing the same presentation tomorrow afternoon at the town board meeting. And people have questions. There's 5 commissioners and then the Niagara Hose officers are all well versed in it. We drilled them, so. So there's a party line they gotta hold to.
Right.
Another question. You store your equipment, the ATV, the boat, where do you store it?
It's on Oak Street at Carl Smith's property.
Okay. So I was just curious as to how close it was, if it, you know,
Well, see, that presents an issue, especially in the spring of the year, because the brush truck is up there. The ATV, which is the tracked vehicle, is up there, which is, it's been unbelievably helpful in fighting brush fires, because the spring of the year, you can't get wheeled vehicles out in these ag fields where we have a lot of these problems.
that's why I was curious as
So-
to how far away from the
So
fire station.
now they have to go up there, move stuff around, pull it out, hook up, and go.
You're wasting time.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we want everything all under one roof where we're not paying rent here and there. And, you know, you consolidate your equipment and keep better
When you
track
show up
of
at the
it.
station for a brush fire and it's like, oh, somebody's gotta go get this and,
Exactly.
It's gonna cause.
well, you can't drive this because you're not qualified on it, so we gotta find somebody else. It makes it kinda tough.
Yeah, it's understandable.
I mean, the station's 30 years old. When it was built for the equipment at that time, that size of the equipment. Stuff has evolved over time. I mean, you've seen the fire trucks, how big they are. You go to the fire station and see how they fit. I mean, if I gained any more weight, I'd never squeeze by the front, between the door and the front of the vehicle, so. You know, I mean, I think it's due. It's not gonna get any cheaper as time goes on, so. I can't say enough good about it.
Your prevailing wages brings the cost of the building up 30%. Right off the top.
Do you
Thank
offer
you for your
public
time.
tours?
There's nothing we can do
Is
about
there
it.
a possibility that you could offer a time or something, maybe before your public forum or something, where you would offer a tour?
Sure.
That people could come in and you might increase your attendance at this public forum if they could come earlier and walk through and visualize. I mean, for me, I've been there, I know what you're talking about. But for the average resident here, it may be beneficial for them to come in and walk through this blue spot that you have up here so that they can see how cramped you are.
Well, they would have to come through that for the vote anyway to get into the meeting.
Yeah. So,
But maybe we can get get some open house or
Oh, yeah.
open the doors.
You know, put it on the, we can put it on the village website, or put it out there as a, you know,
Because most people that go are probably going for the pancake breakfast, which there's no
Place is-
equipment.
the place is empty.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so
well, that's
you really
everybody's
don't know.
perception. What room do you need? You got plenty.
Right.
You know, when we go for the breakfast, well, come when there's no breakfast.
But that's, I understand what Mayor Martin is saying, is that people, if they're not there for any other reason, they would never see
Right.
how cramped it is. I've been in there when all the trucks are in there.
Yeah, I
I
think-
understand how cramped it
Yeah,
is.
and I think also if you do this, a demonstration to the issue of cross-contamination in that current meeting
yeah.
area, I think that the public would be awakened to
Yes.
what would happen in an emergency if we were here all the time fighting.
Well, the St. Mary's Fire, I mean, you had, I don't know how many fire companies there. There's 10 below that night, and the different units were coming and going in the bay areas and in the kitchen area. And I mean, everybody was on top of one another. They're walking through there with their gear and the soot and everything else. I mean, you know, it's the nature of the beast, but, so hopefully this will alleviate some of that.
I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, back to the ice storm, they were using the then American Legion, part of it was being used for,
Right.
and I think was it the American Red Cross was also set up?
I don't remember where they were set up,
But
that's the problem.
I guess what my point is if we were to have some kind of a natural disaster like that, would the American Red Cross, who usually comes in to help when there's disasters, would they be allowed to help in the
Oh, yes,
facility?
oh, yes. It would be an evacuation point, but we're not gonna be a shelter per se. Where you
Okay,
could-
because that's shelter thinking, that's what I was.
They're,
looking for.
the Red Crosses, their rules have gotten a lot more complicated since Katrina for having shelters and maintaining people in certain locations. It's confusing.
I'm sure it is.
is there any more questions, more discussion?
Mike, I'm glad you became a fire commissioner. You presented very well.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. And thank you for projecting.
I'll help Dave with this. and I'll be back.
You're at 9? Oh, tonight. Oh, no, I was talking about the vote is till 9.
All right, gentlemen, you want to turn your chairs around, we'll get you started. Or you can stand, or you can, whatever you wish to do. If you don't mind,
Kiss it, yeah. What do you kiss it? What do you kiss it?
go ahead.
No, they're here for the library.
I know.
Oh, you want me to that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry, it wasn't on the agenda, so I didn't know these guys were presenting to me. So, we had put this to bring to the board the information on moving forward with a possible vote, or whether we make the decision to move forward with the library. I've done a lot of research this past month. There are tons of grants available that are every year renewed. So, went through the history of grants in the past, and they're almost consistently annual grants, so that's a good thing, as we wouldn't obviously be writing grants until that time. Also, did a lot of research on how to make your public libraries relevant in today's day and age. And consistently across the board, is what Janet and I had discussed when we did the tour over there, is modernizing. You know, we have to bring this library into where we are now. There's no comfortable seating area, which is really more of where the libraries are going, is having it as a community center, almost, literally. where it reminds them of the library and all the services that are available, whether it be through the e-books, which is now a big thing right now. And I have to say, that e-books thing was great. My husband was in India, and he accessed our library on a regular basis and got an update book while he was traveling, so it was great. But it's letting everyone in the community know what services are out there, and that libraries aren't an antiquated thing. It is still very relevant in today's day and age. And we want to keep this piece of our community and not let this piece disappear. So a lot of the things they had, suggestions, which I thought was kind of exciting, are having different projects, things like for the children and getting activities, say for example, on the whole process of what a butterfly goes through. And so you actually have them, raising the butterfly from cocoon and then releasing them, having a big event, and having books on that topic. So as the kids get excited about that, they want to sign out the book to learn a little bit more about it. And that's our whole goal, right, is to get children interested in reading and away from their electronic games and devices, and kind of back to a little bit more of, the foundation of what makes learning so great. Same thing with the adult programs. What is it that's going to make it exciting for an adult to come in and learn or sign books out with it? And there were tons and tons of wonderful suggestions also on programs that you can do to kind of spark the interest within the community and have them come in and want to get out. One thing that, of course, really excited me was the gardening piece, for example, right? And taking it from A to Z on learning, the process of how to choose your seeds, what to grow in our climate, and having those books and those sources available. And on all these sites, it really emphasized the librarian's understanding and knowledge of everything that's out there in the internet world. And so that they have that information available at their fingertips. So, they're giving that, not just pulling out the book where they can find it, but where you can get that information. Because your library is an information referral, right? It has that piece there. So it would then, if we took and expanded down the basement, which was really a great opportunity if we have Mike and crew and the board after this water project, build the exit out of the basement, because we have to have that to use the basement. It's a huge area. And say, for example, we set up a kitchen down there. So if we do this gardening piece, right, we tell people how to choose their seeds, have little workshops, mini workshops. That's what they're talking about doing to gain the excitement and the interest. And then, how do you maintain your garden? What do you need to do? Is it really important to weed your squashes? Like, they had on NPR the other day about all your squashes. I'm so diligent about weeding. Well, hell, I'm going to stop weeding the squashes and all that, because they're going to still do okay under the weeds. But all those kinds of things that you didn't quite know that may not be there, and then what do you do to then process all that you've planted? And how do you go about it? And lessons on canning, and whatever it is. And then again, have the books there. People could sign it out that they want to know about this in advance, or whether what they could sign out on an ebook for this information. So, I think it's exciting. I don't think libraries are a dead and gone thing, and I think it's a wonderful, exciting piece for our community. And I personally think it's a great risk, because I don't see it as a risk to take this on for our community. So y'all have the information. John did some updates for numbers, and I don't know if you guys would like to share some things. So that's just what, in the research I've done this past month, in addition to before, there's so much out there, and they've got great ideas.
I think the basic problem here, the basic issue, is a little more elementary than what you're describing. I'm not anti-library, I'm going to put that out there first. I think there needs to be some changes in this library. I know the library board is doing a wonderful job, but I think, from my estimation and what I see, is I think the library has to go in a different direction than what it's in. I think you have to develop some programs that'll bring people back into that, as Amy is talking about. I think when I look at the numbers that are going in there, and when a 2-week arts and crafts program is bringing in more kids than what the library is offering now, I think that's an issue. I don't know if I know it's been mentioned that the current board, and don't take this in any incorrect manner here, but the current board is aging, as we all are. And, okay, listen, so, has there been a sustained attempt to go out and get some new volunteers, some younger, if you will, some younger volunteers motivated, that they will sit on your board and bring some new blood, no pun and no, I don't mean this wrongly anyway, some new people in there to see and to go out and to work in the community much the same as you have done for years, to bring more interest back into this library as it is. I mean, we can bring all kinds of programs, but is it going to be a benefit to the village, to the library? How do we combine all of this? I was writing some notes here, some new programs, something that will bring them in. Maybe more attractions, more events, something for the residents, for the children. It may be to the point where, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes here, maybe you need a change in leadership that's going to evolve this library into a more attractive, drawing place to be. You can have it, but if there's no programs being offered there for them currently, I don't know what the village taking the library over, how that's going to change anything. I would like to see the programs started. I would like to see the programs successful. I mean, this village has come a long ways in the last couple of years. I want to see that library survive and grow, but I don't know how it's going to benefit if the library itself becomes part of the village, if the library is not doing what it should be doing now. You see what I mean here? I mean, you got to build up the programs. I don't know the benefit. I know that the library would benefit. And in some regards, the village would benefit. But I'd like to see some changes that increases the people coming in and using this library. I mean, obviously, I don't see where it's going to change if the village takes it over. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to see the library survive, but I want to see the programs develop. I don't see where, if it comes into the village's realm, where it's going to become better, if it's not happening now.
I can add to that, but I think John has to say something.
Regular, the reason I've been doing that for 23 years, I've been treasurer. I think the reason is, it's the individuals there. If we had Amy and Janet on our board, this would be more for discussion. I think we're an association library. It's not a community library, it's not a school library, it's an association library. If we had members like these two right here on the board, we wouldn't even have to bring this up for discussion and ask the village to come in. You see what I mean? It's the individuals there that have the ideas that we discussed with tonight, which makes the library, plus the librarian. It's the individuals there on the board, the spark.
Plus the ability to write grants too that are available.
Yeah, but let's follow, can I
Yes.
follow up on what, I'm glad you said it that way, John, because I think you're right. And I think if, and I do think this is what the mayor is saying too. If we can help you get those people on that board, that will assist you in doing these programs that Amy's mentioning that are so fantastic. It's not really the village that is going to rescue you and set up these programs. It's more people on your board that have this forward way of thinking, and can bring these ideas and write these grants. That would be that's my recommendation. Start with that.
The
And I
librarian
know I've
has-
said that to you before. It's-
The librarian has, she has written up a couple of grants. Wherever she, but
It might
not
take
many.
someone with, it might take someone with a little more experience writing grants, however.
I mean, you received some grants, but has it increased the programs? Has it increased your, your activity within the library for the children, for, some adolescent issue, or, you know what I mean? Draw them in. Is the numbers greater for them? I mean, you look at a 2-week program here with Arts and Crafts. Numbers are larger than what we normally, what's normally in attendance in the library. It should be that way all the time.
I agree with what you're saying, Mayor Martin. Younger people sometimes, especially younger parents, because they want programs for their kids to do. They want Lego University, robotics, things like that. Those are the things that if you have those programs, I know robotics is huge right now, these groups that are doing them. One of the couples that I work with, they travel all over the place for these competitions. It's huge. And I think what needs to happen is it kind of has to be almost grown again from the bottom up. But if you get these programs in, and it's not necessarily through grant writing, you need to spark the interest within our own village with some of these younger parents to get them in there and participate. Because once you get something in there that's going to spark their interest and get their kids' interest, then it's going to expand, and it's going to draw in the rest of the family. Because maybe there's something going on for the 5-year-old. Well, the 6-year-old now has to come too because mom's going to be there, and they're going to be sitting room removal, or they might have another activity going on. But I think it needs some younger blood in young parents to get involved and to start seeing what their kids are interested in doing, and maybe getting those kinds of programs in.
I agree with all that, but I also thought that the reason we're looking into this was there's more available to this.
The 501c3, yes, there's a lot more available to that.
But again, if you don't get people coming in, it doesn't matter how much grant money you throw at them. If you can't get the people in there, and that has to start with programs that are going to bring a lot of people in.
But it takes money to run those programs too. So
Yes.
I know she has attempted, we've had, numerous discussions on, they'll start off and say for example, story hour. And the first story hour brings in, 15 kids. And then the next one is 7. And then the next one drops down to 5. And so it really, it's bringing enough of the programs consistently, not a hit and peck, that's what I want, consistent, because it has to be something that people are talking about, like the village, right? So getting the whole downtown area slow and getting and going, and through the generosity of you and your husband, has really kicked things into gear for the village. And it's through that consistency and using the media and, all of the different avenues that are out there, to get the information out there. there is no guarantee that if we were to take it over, that anything would be different. I agree that the bottom line is the library needs to have some changes. You know, one of the first things we mentioned is that Allison, so there was this big room here. What's my office? Well, let's just have the office right at the desk, right there where everything's happening, and you can take that room and build an open arch, and in that room you have chairs, and it's more of a lounge area, and it's more of a social area for people. All the libraries today that are successful do have the programs for getting your GED and all that. That was one of the key things, and you're doing that, and that's wonderful. But we should be doing that during library hours so people can see that these events are happening. You know, and that could happen by having that room that's removed so they could have that class there, but they're seeing things happening. They're seeing cars parked in the parking lot during open hours, and they can generate that excitement. The other thing is 3D printers. It's all the rage, and those libraries that have them, people are coming back because everyone wants to know about these 3D printers, and you need more computers. Bottom line is one computer isn't going to do it because our whole society is based off of the internet now, and if we want to bring in the youth, we've got to have those things like having charging stations within your library, so when they come in, their phone's dying, they've got a place to plug in their phone or their tablet or their iPad, and they can make those connections. So, you know, and more hours too that the library is open, and all of that unfortunately comes with an expense. But I think there's a lot of
I think
potential.
the two concepts are put together.
They go together and they, I think, can reach the same goal and have the same goal, but they're run two different ways. One's by that board that exists now with some neglect, and the other one is by the village. And I'm just saying that I think this board has the potential for doing it. I really do. And I think with new ideas and new blood, and I think, and the experience that you already have, I can see a lot of positive changes happening.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Why not Amy and you become temporary members of the board? And let's bring that enthusiasm. And I, for one, would be glad to step aside. Because I've been there, beyond what, how many years? Been there 40 years. And I don't mean to graduate or mean to think that I haven't tried to do or been valuable in some way. But I think it is time for newer people to come on board with the ideas that you two have, Jared.
But at the same time, Dr. John, I think your experience is also necessary to mentor more than you people are. Because you've been through some of these things.
Yeah, and that's why I said, with the
Yeah.
experience that's currently there.
So I think it's very important.
But there are some great young families here, there's some great young parents in their 30s that are involved. And they're probably not going to the library because they don't think anything's happening. But I think you could help them. I really do think so too.
They go to the library to use the computers, that's why most of the people go in and they have two computers for public. A lot of people, they go in there and they're not coming in with books. They go in there and they're using the computers.
But as they're in there using the computers, and if you had some programs going, and they're kind of hearing as they're on the computer, and they're like, oh, maybe I might want to learn how to do that, you know, and I didn't even think about it. I mean, we gotta get people out of their boxes being stuck to the darn computers, but you gotta generate those programs to excite them to want to be a piece of it.
I think just a few things that we have done, update on the library, work on the building. I'm not sure whether I mentioned this before, the roof. In November of 2014, I put a new roof on there for $7,987. The job should have taken probably 2 days, I would say. And it rained. In that week, I think it took me 3 days. So it took them a week to complete the job. It's not That was 2014, 2016 in May. Just this year, we purchased a new air conditioner from Lowe's for $694. We tinkered around with the old air conditioner and it's been these problems for years. So we got a new air conditioner. And then May 20th, we had a new 6-inch chimney on $1,220. So the building is, and we do have natural gas. The building is seriously in pretty good shape. And we used to use it downstairs, was used by the Boy Scouts or there's a function downstairs in the basement.
Girl Scouts.
Cub Scouts,
Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts,
Long time.
Long time ago.
and Boy Scouts too.
The trouble is, it needs an access, and there are times when it's needed. So whether the humidifiers are necessary to keep it under control or not, it's certainly available for some use, but it needs some tending to it, I think.
Well, I got you here, gentlemen, and I know it's not part of this discussion, but the village is in the process of putting the surveillance cameras up in different locations. One of the locations is across the street from the library. And again, maybe this is not the correct forum, but is it possible that Mike could come down with the service personnel for the surveillance system and find a way to hook into the library's power source to run our camera? I mean, I don't think it's gonna cost much or much of anything, but I'm sure we can sit down and have a discussion on some other avenue of making sure that this was not a huge hindrance on the library.
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, we need a place to mount the camera, but we also need the power source. You know, if you learn from this, we can find some other place. I didn't mean to interrupt, I didn't mean to break up the discussion. Is there anything that you want to bring out? Are we going to continue with this discussion, with this forum? I think we should.
Have we accomplished anything so far? Your suggestions both are excellent. And to implement them is another chore. Maybe it's not a chore, to me, it should be done.
Well, this
That's
is,
why I would wonder, I'm not trying to pick just you two out of the board, but to be invited to our meetings, because they are, we don't have a closed meeting, we do have occasionally if it comes to, salary for the director, but as far as visiting people coming in to our meetings, I'm not even probably going, might be good.
when are your meetings?
When's the next one?
July 20th, something, I'm not sure.
Oh, you can let us know.
I can let you know.
I think that's a good idea.
Are they evenings, day, when are they? What time of day are the meetings?
6 o'clock,
Okay.
6 o'clock until.
July 20th is Wednesday. I don't know what they have, July 20th is Wednesday.
What's the,
I'd have to check on that.
Wednesday is July 20th. I don't know if you have a certain day.
Usually happen on a Wednesday.
no, usually Thursday, depends on who has an itch for one day and not for another day. We try to be consistent, but we're not always consistent, that's for sure. Tuesday or Thursday usually, occasionally Wednesday.
Well, let us know when your next one is, and I'm sure that we would like to attend.
I understand this water project, because I've talked to you a lot about the water
Yeah.
project, and that's a huge
Yeah.
undertaking. And I think, I have a belief that we want to wait until this water project is finished before you hog
think that that would be prudent, but I'd also like to continue with the discussion.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's, the better understanding that we have, and the more ideas that are put in there, that bring us together a little bit. I feel that the library should survive as a working entity. I just strongly also believe the programming has to change. It
We
has
have
to
one
change to,
new young member that came on board, right?
Dan, me? Dan, me?
Yes.
Put the air conditioner in first.
You're shaking your head like this.
No, yeah, I know, I knew him,
Okay.
yeah, no, I knew he came
No,
in.
in fact,
And I
he-
know that there's a young mom that Allison has been priming and hopefully
Okay.
trying to get in. But I think that's really, when we're talking young, we're talking people in their 20s or 30s that can relate to this generation and what excites them and what gets them going, because that's gonna be the future of the survival, right?
that will determine whether this library is going to work or not.
Right.
Essentially, if it's going to work, you've got to bring those people in and get them involved.
And we need to cater to every age group, because the library isn't just for children.
That's true.
It's not just for my age, it's not just for retired folks. It's for everyone, and having programs that would hit every category. And they did talk about teenage too, and try and get them hooked in with programs that excite them, that would get them coming, and again, that excitement and thrill and want to, hold that book in your hand. But so many, they use the readers, but that's okay, because you can e-book it. I didn't even know we had the e-book until I started this process, so. People don't know what they don't know, but it's again, getting that information out there and that excitement and keeping that PR and that conversation and information going to get people hooked.
Well, it was done in the village. I don't see why it can't be done in the library.
It can be done, but it's best done by a group of citizens. It's the best way to do it. Because they're invested. Once they're invested, you have them.
So leave me a message when your next meeting is. I'll be happy to go if I'm available. If you're talking, it's the 21st. I'm not going to be available. I'm going to tell you that week is shot.
That week's good for me, but the following week is not.
I could do the following week, but not that day. The day before my husband leaves the country again, so no.
If you just
I
let
learned
the
to
girls
say
in the
no.
office know, they'll
It's
send out an
something.
email to all of us, and,
Yes.
those of us that are available can certainly.
Him, I got all sorts of heat when I said the girls in my office.
Oh,
That didn't go over very well.
no. I still use that, the girls in the office.
Right.
Political correctness.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll keep the dialogue going.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
Thank you,
listening.
guys. I'm sorry to keep you so late.
I won't discuss it.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Good night.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
You too.
Okay, back to the mayor. Okay, Mike, you're in.
Well, you have my report. I think I know what's on there. It's a little bit of the same thing all the time. Grass issues, a lot of them have taken care of themselves. There's a couple other ones I'm still working on. A couple enforcement actions going through the court systems. One project at the mall is giving their CO for it for the Chinese restaurant to open. The dollar store still on track for, I believe, the end of August. And that's going on. They're doing a nice job over there in front of the mall.
Yes.
Everybody's seen it. I
Yeah, it's
was
very
kind of
attractive.
surprised, so they're spending a few dollars over there. Other than that, that's basically it.
Can I make a request if it's not too much trouble? You don't need to photocopy for us who you're sending out the notices on the grass, but I would really like to know the addresses of who you have sent out to, and then who is falling off, so we can see that progression.
In other words, the ones that are done? I mean,
No, combination, so the list of, okay, I sent out to, 7 Chestnut Street and whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is where the notices went out. So as we're out and about in our community, and maybe we see something that you didn't see, we can say, oh, what about this property? But I don't know who you've sent it out to. So before you used to tell us, so you knew. But I would really love, if it's not too much trouble, to have that. Again, not a copy, I hate the waste of paper. But if you could just keep us a running list of the properties, that would be really nice.
Yeah.
Same with like the enforcement for the garbage and all of that.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be great.
St. Mary's is finished?
Yes. Seeded, the grass is growing, the equipment's gone, so.
Yes. Can we ask questions now?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Keeping a fowl. Might this be fowl with very long legs and big wings?
Fowl is a broad term, but
Yeah.
chickens, ducks, geese.
I'm thinking of the
peacock.
fowl that was in my backyard when
Yeah.
I was sitting on my roof, our roof. What's going on with them?
We're working through it. There may be a zoning application in the future. I'm not sure yet.
To allow it?
No, they, I mean, yeah,
We have the application.
yeah, it's up to the zoning board.
For next month's.
Yeah, that's the August meeting.
But next month, so.
Okay.
Circumstances that, help delay that. I don't know if the application does have some issues involved.
I don't see a whole lot of issues. Okay. Anyway, renovation project on Oak Street, which?
The old church, the Methodist
Oh,
church.
okay.
Yeah, Jesus Central, yeah. We've been over there a few times.
What, is that going to be like a personal home or?
Well, right now, she's trying to develop a one-bedroom apartment in the basement, so she can generate an income to keep going with finishing the upstairs. I gotta say, as one ambitious lady.
Because that property was vacant for
Oh, yeah.
many
Well,
years.
she was gonna start on the steeple this week. There's a pigeon issue in there, and she was gonna rent a lift to get up there, but because of the rain, she delayed it till next week. But I was talking with her again today, and that's a much larger project than what she thought, so. But she wants to keep going with it, so. I'm sure it's gonna take quite a bit of time before that's ever complete, but, I mean, it is nice. Yeah, oh, yeah.
The woodwork was beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger.
Yep.
It's in bad shape, I'm sure. Thank you. That's all I have.
Can you give us anything on the Patterson property?
It's the court case right now, it's going through the court,
Right.
through the different, I mean, he has to come and plead guilty or not guilty. And we had a pre-trial hearing, and she showed up an hour late after we were gone. Basically, he's gonna stub his nose at the village in the process. He's not gonna show up, and he's not gonna pay any fines, and he's not gonna do anything. Claims he's gonna let it go, and, you know, after 3 years, the county will sell it off in a tax auction. So that's gonna leave a lot of issues between now and then.
It's not gonna make it till then.
No,
No.
I mean, there's the
The
issue.
cracks are getting bigger.
No, but the fence is there, so, I mean, he's not gonna pay for that, that's gonna be on the village. So there's some legal issues that you're gonna have to talk with your council on and see how you wanna proceed. Pardon me?
The fence will be placed as a meeting.
He's not gonna pay
As
anything
long
on
as he's not
that.
gonna pay it, so
Right.
the county will have to make it up.
Yeah. I mean, those are legal issues that I haven't, you know, it's beyond me, so.
And this really then becomes a conversation as they've taken this statewide, you know, call the hotline number for the abandoned property pieces, right? So what are they going to do with the owners that can't be held accountable because they're not citizens of the United States? And how do we allow them to continue purchasing our properties and scooping them up and not taking care of them without any recourse? They can still cross the border, still come into our country and dump on us and make the taxpayers pay for. So this is something that we need to bring forward, and so what's gonna be done about it? It's not fair, and it's not right, and it's just like being a criminal. I'm sorry, it's like being a criminal. No different.
It has to start from law. I mean, New York State or the federal aspect, the zombie law, I think will help. Get the process moving forward. It's so time consuming.
It is.
And the way that this passed, we had a rather large bill for this last 4 years. But it's going to be really time consuming, and it's going to be expensive. Will it get better? I don't know. Until there is a way, an avenue to hold these absentee landowners responsible to some degree.
It's frustrating. I mean,
It is.
you spend a lot of time working on this, and because they don't live here, you have no recourse.
Right,
You know, the justice system is not working in our favor.
right. It's affecting our property values, and it's affecting getting people to want to come into our community, when we have a majority of the cruddy little places, you know, that are these abandoned. It's very frustrating.
I guess
You know, as you're fighting to build your community up, and you've got this game that's
Yeah.
being played by
Exactly.
some people.
And it's not fair to the residents.
Exactly.
Whatsoever.
No, no. It's a problem. And so this will continue to happen with one piece of property after the other, as the other properties continue to deteriorate, because nothing's being done about them either. There, I'm off my soapbox.
Now, thank you that you're done, just thank you for what you're saying. There are other communities, there are other places in New York State that have attempted to tackle this problem. Some degree of success in some places, and other places just as frustrated as they were before the started.
And we have that added benefit of being on the board.
I mean, if you had a boatload of money to fight it, you could probably do it,
Right.
but
You're not in.
unbelievable.
Not at
Let's make
all.
that very clear.
No, because the Canadians do a wealth of
Of course not.
shopping here, and I'm not, this is definitely not an attack on
That is a
Canadian
defense
citizens.
mechanism. that's being used.
You know, that's right. And it's, this is purely on an individual basis, like anything that goes on. It's the individual that creates this issue, but we have that added complex because it's enticing to purchase property here, you know? But there should be an accountability. Great, let's buy the property. Welcome to our community. We have a lot of wonderful Canadian folks here. Exactly, she's done amazing things in renovating that. You know, and that's what we want to bring to our community. Sorry. Thank you for clarifying that, I did not want.
Is there any other questions for Ryan? Kim, I don't need. Okay. All right, the shared water project with the town of Champlain is slowly moving forward with new water line installation occurring in many locations throughout the town and the village. We would again like to thank our residents for their patience and cooperation as these improvements are being put in place. The anticipated completion date is April of 2017, so there is much to be accomplished. Soon, we will be calling our residents to set up times when we can install new water meters, pressure reducing valves, and new radio read devices. These are all part of the project improvements that will be taking place here in the village over the next 6 to 7 months. Your cooperation is necessary for the timely installation of the new meters, allowing us to streamline our processes for future water and wastewater billing services, saving both the town and the village time and money. We will be reporting more on this as we prepare for this stage of the project. Village Fest will occur this year on August 13th in conjunction with the townwide garage sale and the Champlain telephone open house. As always, this will be a very busy day here in the village with fun and treats at Billero Park on River Street from noon to 4 p.m. There will be many exhibitions and opportunities for folks to see old friends, make new ones, as they all enjoy an ice cream treat and an afternoon of fun and enjoyment along the Great Chazy River. As I reported last month, we are in the process of installing cameras at various sites here in the village to address misuse of and vandalism of village property. Recently, we had a couple situations at the village playground that shows how irresponsible a few individuals can be. This behavior will not be tolerated and will be addressed in the most severe manner possible. The playground was put in place for the enjoyment of all. I ask that we make the extra effort necessary to keep the playground a happy place, to be a gathering place for our children to grow and enjoy, and remain a sign of progress made in our village over the past few years. These cameras will be in place soon, and they will be used to provide surveillance in this village in many locations. Thank you. Trustee McFetrich.
Can I ask you a question before you move on?
You certainly can.
So what happened down at the playground, and do we know what happened?
Well, we know that there was a tub of playground equipment left down there, surplus, things like the disc, and the tub was smashed, the stuff was thrown up on the building roof.
And then the trash, broken and in the trash. I put the tub down there with the message that said this is where I want to enjoy, please reduce the tub. Broke the tote and broke the toys and things like that.
So I guess we should ask if anyone has any information on this, and we should probably see if the paper would do an article on this, if anyone has information to bring it forward to us, if we don't know who did it.
I think there's a few people downtown that we can order them.
They're starting to do their writing on the post for the pavilion down there, the chalk or whatever. Broke all the outlet covers off a while ago. We put blinks that shut all the power off so you can't charge your cell phones or anything anymore. Because of the outlets there and they break the covers, so we put blinks on it, shut all the power off, over the lights, so that way they abuse it, they lost it. Same thing with our lift station, we're trying to charge over there, we shut the breakers off for our lift station, so we don't be over there. We try to maybe go down and.
It's just the irresponsibility.
One or two.
Right.
One or
Yeah,
two
it's
that.
very few.
Yeah.
But with the surveillance cameras, we will be pressing charges, I hope.
I would say yes.
Yes.
Once they are identified, yes, need to make an example of.
They need to be held responsible, yes, absolutely. And if it,
Will help, but individuals who destroy what they don't.
whether they're a teenager or not, they need to be held responsible.
Prior to, we've improved the atmosphere in this village so much in the last couple of years. We have it destroyed by just a few. Yes.
It's good.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Well, on that note, the longest day of play was very successful. We had over 60 children participate.
Oh,
Nice.
great.
Isn't that great? Yeah, it was really good. Participation at rowing was also been excellent, both Fridays and Wednesday nights. I thought the turnout for the public input on the waterfront revitalization study was also excellent. We got some great ideas. Everyone was able to come and join it. We'll continue to work on this in the coming months. Day after tomorrow, Wednesday, July 13th at 6:30, Mark Berry and Christine Racine are going to be talking about their new book, The Champlain Boat People.
What date again?
Wednesday, this Wednesday, July 13th, 6:30 at the meetings. And they will have copies of their new book for sale. Yeah, it should be absolutely fascinating. They have, I believe they have a list of names of the different people that worked on the boats, who worked on the boats. this Friday, the 15th, is the first summer story hour. Mickey Malinsky is running. And with that, we've decided to offer a tween activity. So that age group of, I'd say 10 to 13, 10 to 14-year-olds often falls through the cracks. So we're going to have a Lego challenge at noon, along with story hour for the Lego challenge. The farmer's market starts on Saturday, the 16th, from 9 to noon at Hophead Park. I was contacted by a couple of other agencies to schedule workshops. Solarize Adirondack Coast campaign. We were talking about that briefly last month. Is coming on August 4th. I don't have the time. I'll have to update that. At the meeting house, and they're going to talk to local residents about bringing solar power to their homes. So that should be really, really good. And the other thing is the decentralization grant writing seminar is going to be here. That's the Arts Council. That's going to be in Champlain on August 26th at 2 p.m. at the meeting house. Those are both people that contacted us about spreading word into this area. So they're really, really trying to reach way up in Champlain. And then finally, I'm still working on trying to set up 2 concerts, and I'll have to just announce those details when I put them together. Just having a little bit of trouble there. So I'll let you know.
You want to start planning for the village festival, so that we do.
Yes. Oh, yeah, as long as you mention that. And the fun run will be at 8 a.m. on the 13th.
Some entertainment again this year. Obviously, we'll have the ice cream. Other activities, plus the exhibitors.
Oh, and the Ducky Derby too.
Ducky Derby?
We're having a Ducky Derby.
That's exciting.
Yes.
We need more water in the
So
river.
I
sounds
need you
exciting.
to,
Oh, they're fun!
I need to have you each buy a duck or 2, roll a number, and see if you can win. And it's a fundraiser for JCPO.
There's
It's awesome.
no foul allowed.
Yeah. Rubber foul is allowed.
Always fun.
Oh, man. Should we move our board meeting to the first Monday as opposed to the second then? So, because it's the Monday right before the event, so we have more time for if needed. Just a thought.
What's the first Monday?
It's the first.
Yeah.
It's the first. The first.
That's fine with me, if it's okay with everyone else.
It's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's better for me.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I'm fine with that.
Perfect.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we move our regular monthly meeting to August 1st from August 8th, only for the month of August, 6:30 p.m.
Second that.
Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I'm slacking this month.
Yeah, I only had 1 page.
It's more than I have. Kim?
I'm gonna be really bad. I really don't have anything.
Okay. Doug?
The other thing I report to the rest of the board is the construction's been going well. It's in the garage, physical design. I've met with them now several times to both iron out some differences in the plans that have been made in any project. There's always changes. They're doing a good job. I'm very confident. Actually, I didn't get additional help for this. Very well requested. Because we need, we need to change to a total ridge vent. They were willing to take the ridge cap off the existing main visual roof, which is probably 80 feet long, and they vented the whole ridge instead of just the 2 chimney vents. Yeah, that was,
we were gonna take the window out, it's just by somebody that invented that, window, I'm not sure if it's definitely, it's a good idea. But anyways, we made, very good job.
We've had a couple people look at the front of this building. We've had requests go out to some nations. We have one that's coming the 18th to do an estimate out here. Another, what you call a message, what you call that. We're looking at the signs up here, to see what we can do to make it look a little better. Some of this work I think can be done in-house for this board prefers, but we really have no more working on it. We want to upgrade the building. I'd asked one contractor to give us a ballpark figure on replacing the doors and all of the windows.
Yes, we
Those
well,
are in very poor shape.
oh, okay.
These doors don't meet the minimal requirements. Just to give us a ballpark figure that we can use to work and to move forward.
Move forward, so we need to, when we're looking at the building, like, it needs more than paint. It needs more than paint. You know, we need a crash bar on the doors, we need to meet code. The windows are visible. So, we're gonna have to talk about the good start, here's some help. Come back to you guys and decide.
I assume we're going to be here for another long period of time as they build, and then continue to improve. I think we all agree.
I think it's not just improving, it's shoring it up and getting it ready. The masonry work is important, it needs a lot of pointing, there's some missing concrete, problem of all last to look at the problem. This concrete that got knocked out there, it's not that. Okay.
We praise them an
Probably
awful lot,
have-
but every once in a while we gotta throw in
It
a
probably happened 25 years ago.
problem.
No, we're not. Yeah, exactly. The
Like the
face.
men that live
I'm not
on
telling
space,
you.
we're not.
Okay. Anything else, Tom?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Amy?
So we went over the whole library piece. I also did quite a bit of research for any money available for the security system, and that did not bring up anything at this stage of the game. But I'm not going to give up on it. It is very time consuming reading through every single grant and whether we would qualify for it. But so far I have not found any current grants for that piece, but we'll continue to look for that. I am requesting too that if we don't put it on the meeting for the 1st, that we put it in our September meeting. As the discussion did come up with maintaining properties, that was a concern at the revitalization meeting. And I think that we as a board need to have that conversation in a little bit more detail as to what our code is and what we are going to enforce and how to do that consistently across the board if we're serious about cleaning things up. So, I think that the August meeting probably would not be the best choice before it, so, maybe the September, the October meeting, I'd like to see that put on the agenda to start that conversation and how we would then proceed from there.
I think we all agree that there are things in the zoning laws, the village code that need to be addressed, need to be updated.
Yes.
I think that's a good forum for that. Keep quite busy. Okay.
Yeah, you already said you had much going on, so
Yeah, you said pretty much same old, so we gotta give you some new things.
Wow.
New challenge.
That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Report from the clerk treasurer, please.
Everyone has the expense and revenue reports for June. And I'm gonna request a transfer from A599, which is the fund balance, to A1640.4, which is essential garage, for $11,500, which is the cost of building renovations for the siding.
11,000, what?
$11,500.
And that was A599 to A,
1640.4, which is essential garage.
make that motion?
Does that include the money on the warrant? That's to pay for that?
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Is there any further discussion here? Roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. Water sewer bill?
We also had water and sewer billing. The water was $63,555.67. And sewer was $76,119.67.
And you were saying how close we were to the last one?
Really?
Yeah.
I would have anticipated water to be much higher. Mine was. All that watering of your garden and the filling of the pool and.
And I'd like to thank the DPW crew for taking care of our building smell.
Yay!
Thank you.
They were very hard on that one.
Thank you.
It's not a comfortable position to put in here.
Let's
With a whole other facility.
Take care of the long building, right?
Yeah, but it got really bad.
We gotta really. Okay, presentation of the warrant, please.
We have additional invoices in the amount of $2,426.63, which brings our total warrant to $18,340.98.
Okay, the motion to approve,
I make the motion.
have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? You wanna see how costly this thing with,
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
it's right there. on the
Yeah.
first page.
Let's see that. I'm assuming that all the ACE purchases are emergency purchases that need to be, because there's a lot of them, and some of them a little bit larger, so.
For the sewer line, goes there.
Of course, no.
Change on the sewer line here.
Okay,
As it goes on the line.
okay. Just curious.
Plus what you're doing with the, I mean, in your report, what you're doing with the,
Yes, when
The
we've
cement.
been rebuilding the eyes and it's
Right.
towards these data ones right here from the changing all the sectors and all the sewer lines.
And what does NYSSMFO stand for? That is our term. No, oh, no.
The membership.
Oh, New York State,
Yeah, I know the attorney one now, I asked that a couple months ago.
New York State, it's Municipal Finance Office. It's another organization where we can get information.
New, I don't recall seeing that.
No, we
before.
do, because there's three of them. We have New York State, GFOA, and then we have this one.
I guess I've just not noticed those initials before. Shame on me. Thank you. Will you make a motion to,
yes, we have a second.
Yeah,
We're in the
second.
discussion phase. Is the, I guess, to follow up on a question last one, is the River Street sewer nicely built? Is that higher or lower than it was last month? Seemed like last, it
Yeah.
was 18 something, I think.
it was 18 something, this is
Yeah.
19, isn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah. Right.
That was in place before.
Right.
No, it is higher than last one. Yeah, it is higher this month.
It's a little bit, probably because of more weather, more strain on the motors and stuff. But that's something that we'll have to talk about with Burnley Park, look at those permits. pay rent every year to
Rent to
actually own, there you go, rather than just an outlay of X number of dollars to purchase that. We'll end up owning that for a while, we'll just be, if it works out, it'll just be cheaper than $200,000 all at once. And increments over 5 years, or whatever.
But my suggestion is if we have money, then we should just.
Well, I agree.
Yeah,
Right.
I paid
I'm
extra.
thinking it as you
There's-
spoke it, it's like,
You lose some of the contractor's markup,
Right.
things like that.
And don't we have to reduce those, pull out of our fund balances to bring that down? I mean, you see that in a lot of articles in the paper lately, that people aren't reducing.
Keep some money aside in the reserve fund for this.
Okay.
make it that.
We did last year or the year before. we had-
Kim and
Can't
also
say
this
that.
fund balance,
Yes.
Yeah,
and we would do the show.
I agree.
We had to come under this one.
But that's fine, I mean, that's fine, I think that's what it's for.
Yes.
That's what we can do. Okay, everybody goes. All right, is there any other discussion on the warrant? Anything at all? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Trombley. Trustee McFetrich. Aye. Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye, Mike, you're on.
Well, we're staying very busy with water projects, weekly meetings, locating utilities, working with over drilling and blasting, Turner Underground, trying to just address issues that arise with casino, which a lot of times are quite often. Most of the blasting is done on Prospect and West Service Road. I think after today, possibly will be done on West Service Road, and then they're gonna move to Route 11, down in Bowling Alley and Apron Road, which they're running the ledge there, the water line's at a 5-foot depth right now, instead of 6 foot, and the ledge comes up, so they're gonna blast that out. The boring crew, as of tonight, they moved over to, I believe, Eden Lane. They're gonna keep heading down Route 11 towards Masters Point, getting the borders done, then coming back after doing the Route 11 river crossing. Piping crew, we've got one crew over almost to the Ridge Road, they did the interstate bore. They were bringing pipe up to the Ridge Road, and then they tie back in by Border View, and crossing here, they want to start getting water to chase behind them, so they get that pressure line tested over there. And then from there, I believe they want to go back over the outlook, the schedule. They want to go back over, they're up to Oak Street on the rail bed. They want to continue to get that Prospect, and then tie that in and tie from the old tank to the new tank to the Bobcat, get that tied in so they can get those lines, start chasing water here and get these pressurized as well. They're supposed to bring up possibly 2 more crews. One is supposed to be a cleanup crew, which is the guys who do service lines and cleanup, which they should have a few crews for that because right now they got way too much stuff started all over and it needs to be, things need to start getting cleaned up. General street maintenance keeps us very busy, mowing, trimming, watering flowers, seeded areas, daily we have to water. We did some culvert installation on Moore Street, some ditching, the gas line is installed up there, that's complete and charged, as well as Meadow Lane, that gas line's all in and charged, they'll be coming back, the crew will be coming back. We've got a section of Route 9 to do, from just up past Lucia Clares up to past Freeport Forwarding, they're waiting for DOT permits, so when they come back, they'll do that area, and then I think they're gonna start doing hook up the service lines to the homes. I think some people haven't been contacted as far as getting hooked up. We're working on that right now. I mean, they'll come up and look off the house. I think there's a little gap there. Some people want it and they don't know and whatnot. So those guys will be coming back up and working on that. I know I did get my culvert in Moore Street wanted to get it in before they started putting gas in, of course. And we went through and reshaped everything, and they, I think I used to do it all for us, so. Hopefully the grass will get there and to, this heat and a little bit of rain. I know they're also working on franchise for Canal Street Corners for the new water plant. So with that, really, the franchise done, when they can get the word in, we can tie that on, when we start the new water plant. We started some DI replacements. We found quite a few. I got 3 out of the 4 on the corner of Ash Line and Patricia Lane finished. Right now we're doing one in front of the ARC. A lot of these drains that are here, they seem to have been like a sidewalk slab put on the bottom, and then they stack solid bricks and put a block bar and crushed stone around them, and then all crumbling. So we're ripping everything out. Of course, it's tough once the pipes are there. We have to do 2 and 4 pipes. Make forms to fit over the pipes, and then knock them, of course, and pour them. So they're definitely practicing. We've got a lot of them to do. I think we're on our 4th one here in the last 2 weeks. And they're ready now. The poles were put up for the cameras. We had a couple put up, one in Rocket Park, one on River Street. Those are in. Ran a conduit, wires already pulled. We did start with the camera installation here today, and here earlier in the week. We should have the, I hope we're going to do it for Wednesday, we should have the antenna here up, and we'll go up to the sites and see if we get high enough reception. If not, they'll raise it up. So, yes. And Champlain telephone actually gave us a hand on as far as putting the poles up. So, one of them we had to dig in the back of all the slabs, but they came and uprighted them and held them and packed them. So they said a lot there. A lot easier to put those big poles up to have the equipment. Yes. We also have changed a few. I've still got some more to do. Water shut-offs. We've had quite a few that are rotted off on the ground. The old steel rods, top soils, going to shut them off, and we can't. So we've been digging them, putting new stainless steel rods, replacing them as we're finding for the big sink window and doing the big area. I'm hoping to start today, but I'm hoping to start sometime this week on Spruce Street. We're gonna have that drainage. We're starting that drainage on both sides of the road. That's one of the roads we're gonna do this summer. I have that done before paving starts. Our new water meters is great, as Greg mentioned. I assume we'll probably have them as early as Wednesday this week. I know tomorrow night, we're replacing some contract, I believe. They already have it in stock, so as soon as they send the contractor going in their truck, we'll probably have Wednesday. They have all the reviews and the meters. The brass, I think, the same with brass. I would say within a week, we should have everything good. Get going on the installs. We've got between 500 and 600 to do, so we're gonna be out straight here with water meters. I'm going to start stopping by and calling residents to try to set times or schedules with them. Appreciate if they have a meter that's buried in the basement, if they can maybe clean a little path for us so we can get there. We're going to be kind of on a tight timeline. Most of them, I figure, in 1 to 2 hours, we probably can have them changed. There's going to be some that are going to plumb, there's going to be some that are going to take a while, but it is what it is, and we'll work through as we get it. We'll just keep picking at them. So we'll probably see a couple younger fellas will be starting. We've got some help that are going to help us with putting meters only. So and an internship. So there'll be a couple interns that I'll work with to try to get as many of these as we can done. My plan is to start, get all the pressure reducers outside of the main bowl, if you will, where the main pressure vaults are. Anything on the outside of that, I want to get all the ones changed that need pressure reducers, do those first. That this way, when the new tanks come online, we have their vaults and they can pressurize and it's not an issue. We can always do the ones inside after, but I want to get the outside ones, the ones that have to be done to get the system up and going complete.
Mike, could we help with, maybe divvying up some phone calls in the evening for some of the people that are working to, get it scheduled for you? Would that be of assistance?
Probably not. I'm probably gonna go house to house and leave, either call or leave papers. The hard thing is when you set a schedule, if somebody's not there, you have to go to the next one. You can't, if you get backlogged, it screws everybody's up. That's the biggest, it's a double-edged sword, but what we'll do if we do have that one falls in between, we'll probably go, I'll switch to send them somewhere where there's a meter pad, where I don't have to get in the house, where I can do it outside. And to use the fill-in time, like that. I don't wanna cram them too close together. It's gonna take a few weeks to know how long it's gonna take to get into a routine, if you will. Once you do a few, then you're gonna be, you know what I mean? It'd be hard, it's probably gonna be hard for somebody else to try to set a schedule.
Well, even to just let people know that, you're gonna be coming on scheduling time, that they can clear the space in their basement, all the things that you're saying to us
I mean,
that need to be done.
we
You
could
can't
put
do
it
it
on
all yourself, Mike.
Well, I'm gonna have to go house to house to try to set up times. And if somebody's home, when I go to set up times, I'd like to take a peek, know what they have. This way I can make a note, take a picture of it. I know what I need to bring when we come back to install it. You know what I mean? Instead of going in blind, even if they're there, if they're letting me in, at least take a picture of the meter that was there and you know this is gonna be tough when we know we need this, we know we need, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm gonna try to do. And I anticipate, either late this week or early next week. Once I know the stuff's here, we got enough to start, then we'll start on it. I mean, some individuals are, hold on, I can start tomorrow. And some, it's gonna be as we get further down the line, it's gonna be tougher because we're gonna have to get the ones that say, well, you can't get in, you can't get in. Those are gonna be the ones. You always have a few that seem to resist a little. I had that with some meter readings this time. And I ended up putting a note in the door that if they didn't let us in, that was fine, but we would be shutting the water off the road because, yeah, then the few minutes, they come out. You go to pound on the door, nobody answers. When they find a note, take that their water's gonna be disconnected, they pull these, so. Yeah, it's like almost like going with the wrench, they, whoa.
It is a requirement that they have to let us in to service the water.
I mean, there'll probably be a few instances I can see that I wouldn't be surprised that people have to change their services from the curb stop outside of the house. I can foresee, people having them galvanized or something that's not gonna take the pressure. We'll have to run across, and that's the homeowner owns that part of it. So I hope we don't have too many of those issues, but there's always a possibility of that. So we'll be kind of adjusting the pressures accordingly. The pressure reducers come preset at 50 pounds. We can adjust them, but 50 pounds usually is a decent pressure at home. I've got probably 40 inch of people, I want more pressure, and 80 pounds. Well, 80 pounds, a lot of your wash machine and similar valves start malfunctioning. You get in the shower at 80 pounds of pressure, and you're going to go into a sandblasting.
It also gives you the opportunity to check on the illegal sump pump hookups.
Yeah, while we're there, I'd like to, when we do the meters, people have boilers, look at, just take a peek at, hot water tanks if they're available, make sure the pop-off valves are all corroded and this kind of thing. That's not gonna fall on the village, that's gonna fall on the homeowner if they have, if that's things that can change, but some people, they drip because they're bad and they put a plug in it. Well, now you got a bomb, really. So, I'm sure that, we'll find some of that as well as, Greg mentioned, the sump pumps. It is in the village code. You cannot put it in the sewer. You have to go to outside storm drain or a daylight drain, to a culvert out front, something. And I know we still have quite a few of those. Also, there'll be some people that have to install backflow preventers, testable backflow preventers. And that's not upon the village, that is upon the homeowner. I know they go through and still have to put in.
Where are they supposed to be? Where are they supposed to be installed? What location?
Well, they're gonna get installed inside in the line after the water meter, usually put the investment for the backflow preventer. But we have some like the ARC operation between one and they had one, they didn't have one in their boiler so they have to add one. There's gonna be some other places that need them. I know we have a couple of facilities with animals that the line is up from the house to the barn and there's drinking tubs and there's nothing to protect.
So you're not saying
Village
every
residents.
home needs to have one?
No,
Okay.
it's only for certain
Yeah.
hazards. If you have a high risk or high hazard, or potential high hazard for backflow, that's where, a regular house,
Every new house has.
brand new houses now are, I think it's code that you have to have them. But anybody that has an open house, they don't have to have it. If you have a garage, if you have a funeral home, if you have a hair place, if you have a barn or, any potential, and that's gonna have to be looked at. It's not just cross the line, this is what it is. You have to look at the hazard that's involved. Because if you go by the book, some of them say any business. Well, if you've got a daycare that you take care of 3 kids, what's the potential of
Tax business.
Yes, that's a good example. Or insurance, say, the bathroom is there for yourself. That's not really, that's not a high risk.
You got a boiler.
Well, yeah,
But they should be on the
So-
boilers, right? Shouldn't they be installed on the boilers?
it should be. It didn't used to be. Now, any new homes, they have to be. I think that's a huge potential for contamination. So, people will be getting letters.
How would you know if you even had one in your house? How do you know?
Well, they have to be,
Tested once a year.
yes, they have to be annually tested by a certified backflow tester.
Well, either you're failing at the test or you don't have it.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't have one in your home. You could have a non-testable check valve. There's quite a few people that have those. But a regular testable is either a double check, has 2 check valves, or a reduced pressure, where if the pressure drops off, it can drain out the bottom. But those are for high hazard. Mostly businesses, restaurants.
Yeah, I know that, but, okay. Well, let us know, I guess.
Any questions for Mike? Is that it?
That was it.
Thank you.
I was gonna say I didn't, nothing too much since last month, but I couldn't.
Thank you for your time. Correspondence, Mike?
Correspondence includes Officer Tatro to Mr. Robin Gregory regarding foul on his property. Correspondence includes Tatro to Thomas Renane regarding Meyer case. Correspondence from Thomas Renane to Judge Trill regarding Patterson case and the JCO monthly report.
Any comments on the correspondence?
Shall resist.
All right, we've looked at the old business, Champlain Memorial Library, new business. I have a request from the editor of The Sun to name The Sun as an official newspaper for the village. We will keep the Press Republican, but to name The Sun as an added official newspaper for the village. They do a very good job covering the village. You've seen the reporter here, not only here, but in the town as well. They do a great job in covering this end of the world, so to speak. And they requested that we make them an additional official newspaper.
make a motion to make the Sun an additional official newspaper of the village of Champlain.
Second?
I'll second that.
All right, is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a request for wastewater credit from Larry Wilkins. We have a copy of this. Mike, you have a look at this?
Yeah, we'll get a high usage and then get a check which should be on spinning and whatnot. And then we can call back after, apparently, and I didn't see it happen. He remembered after that he had a hose. It's normal, actually, this is normal usage. Mary has right here, the average last one goes is about $4,000, and this one goes to $1,000.
How long did he have to break in the hose?
He said it was just overnight.
Would that create that amount of, my hose blew out too, but, you know, how do you?
Obviously, if your hose runs all night, obviously you can put quite a bit of water, free flow of the hose. I don't know, he didn't, when I went to read the check, I didn't know if he had any toilet leaking or whatnot, and there was no usage. You know, the meter wasn't spinning, it wasn't, and I watched it for a while, everything was good, and then after he remembered that, there was a bust outside. And I obviously
We don't have a witness to
I didn't witness it because he had already fixed it before I was there. The only thing we have to go by is his past. What is it? Usage usually is average usage. So when I was there, I didn't physically see that it was.
Right, so we can't confirm that it went into the septic that was required. Correct?
That's correct?
That's correct, that's usually.
Okay, so this is not something that we're going to vote on.
Deny the request.
Yeah.
Deny the request because it doesn't.
Yes, I make a motion, unfortunately, the request is contrary to policy. Unfortunately, it's not allowed.
Second. Is there any further discussion here?
Yeah, to add on that, if anybody in the village has a break, a major leak, something goes wrong with the water, please get a hold of us here at the office. I'll come over and look at it. If you let us know after the fact, it's not gonna go anywhere. We actually have to visually see what happened, take some notes, take some pictures, bring back to the board. That's the only possible way to get a credit if something goes wrong, just so everybody aware of how it works.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Before we adjourn, we request a short executive session to discuss the personnel matter. It should only take a couple minutes.
So we have to make a motion to do so, I'm not
Yes.
making a motion.
Make a motion, executive session.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I know, half-heartedly.
Yes, we are back from executive session. I'd like a motion to go out of executive session and back into the regular meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are now back in the regular meeting. One thing that I would like to put before the board is I would like to inform West staff. I would like to increase the temporary workers' pay by 3%, starting on the next pay cycle. I need a motion for that.
So,
I need a second.
Second.
I'd like to have this as a roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley. Trustee Kirkpatrick.
aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Abstain.
Mayor Martin.
Yes. Okay, that motion carries. In the personal matter,